And you're live.
Thank you so much.
The meeting.
The meeting is going to come to order at 6:08 p.m. for the Cleveland Community Police Commission ED Hiring Committee. We will conduct a roll call. Commissioner Benito?
Present.
Commissioner Schur?
Present.
Commissioner Reeves? Commissioner Rodriguez? Present. The next item of business is to discuss the meeting decorum. As we know, people might have various topics, whether you're a commissioner or as well as the public. It's imperative that we allow everyone the opportunity to be heard, to speak. Please keep your comments very brief. One person speaks at a time, and we try to understand perspectives from the pros and cons. Any kind of questions or concerns, it can be followed up at clecpc@clevelandohio.gov. Is there anything else? And also, we would like to know that while the police have their body cameras on and they're recording while they're in the CPC office. So please keep that in mind.
Procedure for
And that's a procedure for all the meetings. We just wanted to ensure that it's on the record and the public is aware. Okay. Please review the agenda. Is there any other item that needs to be added? Okay. The next item of business is either committee leadership or membership, depending on, is there a preference in the order? Okay, I guess we could go committee membership. There is a position that a commissioner, is in temporary. So I'm unsure on what to do and how to proceed about that position because especially at this time, there's been a public notice that she's not allowed to attend the committee meetings. So it might be advantageous to add someone.
Sure. Do you want to?
Yes, thank you. I would like to serve. Initially, when we formed this committee, I had asked to be a part of it, but I was beginning my 3-month leave of absence, and I didn't think it would be good to be gone 3 months. I thought all of this would be done. But yeah, I would love to be a part of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that has to officially go through the CPC. So that's something that.
So I could discuss today and give input, but not vote because it hasn't been approved yet.
Right. The next item of business is committee leadership. The nominations, I guess, is open to the floor.
Would you be interested in serving as the chair of this committee? You've been doing excellent work in leading the committee without an official chair. So I would happily nominate you to be chair of the committee.
Thank you. And this work has been with partnership with Benito as well. And I look forward to working with everyone. Commissioner Schur, any comments, concerns?
I'll second that.
Okay. The question is on the adoption of Commissioner Adriana Rodriguez as committee leadership chair for the ED hiring committee. Any further question or debate at this time? Hence none, we'll call for the vote. Commissioner Benito?
Aye.
Commissioner Schur?
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez? Aye. Motion carried.
Noted.
Okay, so the next item of business is the proposal overview of the RFP. I know there are quite a few comments. We can start like section by section. The first, are there any questions about the cover letter to CRC and OEO?
That's the cover letter.
It's the RFP. Oh, that. Okay, yeah. No.
We're talking about.
I think it's, the first page. Page 1. Well, I guess I had one question. So when it said for 2024, the estimated cost would be $0. So are we saying that we don't anticipate that they would start until 2025?
So that was just a number thrown because at that time we don't have one. So, so it says before the contract's proposed cost shall not exceed 25% of the executive director's salary. So that may be approximately $32,500. So currently, it would be an estimated cost, and we have to put a number there.
Okay, yeah, because how I'm reading it is if it were published like this, it would mean that the contract could not exceed $0.
Placeholder.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. Oh, okay,
for
gotcha.
the cost.
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
But I think this is a budget question, so I would say to be open at least until hopefully it doesn't cost 50,000, but that's the number where we don't have to do additional steps in the process, especially since this is our first time navigating this.
Would it be the executive director salary that's in the budget or the IAG salary?
So that's a good question. It just says of the executive director's
Yeah, so I'm
salary.
guessing what
Yeah.
the city says it will be paid once the person starts.
I think the band is 100,000 to 130.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking at a range from 25,000, and what would that be to about another 25? So about
And then is that something that, like, when we have stuff to fill in, is that something that we'll be filling in, or is that the contract department fill that in?
So I think it's what we're okay with,
Okay.
because it's, kind of like our
Okay, so
budget.
we'll enter that in.
So are we okay with the 25%?
Is that something, I'm sorry, to the chair, is that a standard percentage pretty much for services like this? Or are we doing this based on our budget?
So I know the Robert Half contract, that was the number for that.
25%?
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's the state of Ohio.
okay.
But I think the way the RFP process goes, it goes in two phases where all the candidates go, you rate them, and then the budget comes, because you don't want the budget to be like an automatic disqualifier. So I think what our budget allows, on top of ensuring that we have a quality candidate firm.
So I was gonna say that if we are 25,000, we know that the position's banded from 100,000 to 130,000. That would mean that the highest we would be able to go with the 25% would be 32,500.
Possibly, but you never know. Maybe the firm will work with the city and they might advocate for higher, right? They might do analysis across, I don't know, cities or something. I don't know. So it may be possible.
Should we maybe, to amend the cover letter, should we maybe put what the range is for the salary?
Like 25%.
So like 25% of
the band, 100,000. to
between,
130,000.
yeah, and then that way, because is it possible that we'll do over 25%?
Do you want me to take notes?
Sure.
Okay.
So if someone says that they want 40, but we're saying 25% of the salary, but that only gives us a 32,500.
I think it should be flexible.
Maybe we can do a minimum of whatever that band is, and then just see how far it goes, or the range.
Yeah.
So because this is an estimate, so it might be
It's just an
more, it might be less.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to really get like too detailed. It's just saying, okay, this is our estimate.
But we have to, at
Based
that
on that
point,
concept.
if we're gonna eventually have to move this forward to the full commission, then we have to make sure that this language about the proposed cost is consistent.
Yes.
So should we we have to take we have to adjust something to the 25%, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out how to just make it consistent. From your knowledge, you think it will be over the 32 or 30,000?
It's possible.
Okay.
I don't
You
know.
could always put something in that last paragraph where the contract's proposed cost shall not exceed 25% of the executive director's salary, and just put a caveat in there without further negotiation or whatever.
Okay,
And that way, if it comes in higher, we have the opportunity to work with finance
okay,
to
What was
see.
the caveat?
It would be the contract's proposed cost shall not exceed 25% of the executive salary, director's salary. What did I say?
I don't know.
Without
Not
negotiation.
without further
Without
negotiation.
further negotiation.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. A statement that would, give us the opportunity to, for it to go higher. if
Yeah,
it
if-
doesn't.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So,
so we'll say the estimated cost would be 32,500. Because we can't have zero.
okay,
So that would be
Yeah,
that would be
and
the
she
top
put
of the
that
band that
language,
we
yeah.
have, that's, so 32.5 is the top of the band, so replace the zero with 32.5.
And then that other language would be on the closing paragraph without further negotiation.
Would be here in this paragraph, Christine?
And then-
So we would
Yeah.
this to 32,000.
Yeah.
So, oh, you're not, you just put that.
I can change the document also.
So I want to ask another question to the chair. So where is this money earmarked right now? Where is this money earmarked in
So
contract services? So are we sure that we don't have any outstanding or proposed contracts between now and the end of the year that might eat that money up? How do we guarantee that that money would be there?
We have the bias-free training, the bias-free, work we have to do. We also have,
The outreach.
the outreach survey,
Do we have an estimated cost on those?
not the survey, but the outreach, we don't.
and I would say, within the categories, the personnel is one, and then the
And
rest
those were already
can
passed.
be, already flexible. I understand that there are other, RFPs and contracts, but this is something that has to be, is a priority.
But it's not a top priority. It's not over bias-free, which is a consent decree requirement.
I think it's a priority, and we need to ensure that it's in our budget. There has been a number of questions that have been asked. So from my understanding, it's in the budget.
And from my understanding, we're still not sure.
Who is the budget chair?
That's a lot.
Oh, it's a line?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a line.
So from my understanding, it should be in the budget.
But I think you raised a valid question, Jan, and I think we should do further investigating to see what the cost of those two items that have already passed through the full commission, see what the prices for those things would be, to see if we need to try to pull money from other locations.
So it's in the budget.
My
whether-
understanding is that the money's there. We are allowed to move monies around in the operational side of the budget. So I think that between all of these, I think they're all priorities. But I believe the money is there. So I think what we can request is, can we get like an updated, sort of like expenditures so far this year, where what we spent, what's still left in contractual service, what's allocated? Because I know that we did use a lot of the money on that operations budget. Also, we have to pay for NACO. So we just got to get the updated budget, and then we can kind of move on from there, I think. Because I was just talking like we're not actually looking at the budget. So
You can ask me a question. It's not, I manage a budget. It's not like I'm not allowed to answer budget questions.
What are the two RFPs that we need to move forward with that have already been passed through?
So if you were at the mid-year budget assessment, right, we still have our $30,000 in outside professional services. During that time, I proposed two RFPs, right? One of them for bias-free policing to help us with our consent decree mandate related to that. The second one was a community engagement assessment. Those were both approved to move forward as projects by the full commission during the July 24th meeting under budget and grant. So those are two RFQs that we are moving forward with putting out. Those alone could cost more than what we have available in that 30,000, and the plan during that committee was to move whatever additional funding we could find to cover the cost of those two projects. You also have the police commander background checks, which from what I was told this morning by Martin, could be in excess of $10,000, and then the cost of this. You do not have enough money to do all of these, so you will have to prioritize which ones when you get proposals back. That's just the reality of it. We only have $30,000, and to imagine that we can do all of this for $30,000 is unrealistic. However, how you choose to appropriate your money, we can move things from other sections. We may be able to get it up to 50,000 by moving some things around, and maybe, we'll be able to get as many of these done with that 50 as we can.
So for the record, there was a commission meeting before we passed the RFPs. I asked specifically before I gave my yes that we had money in the budget for the ED, and it was stated at that time, yes. And I've asked several times, and I just would like the record to reflect that. Commissioner Ridgway.
The comment that I want to make to the chair and to the committee members, I did some research today.
So we're going to have
And so there are a couple of things that could happen here. You don't have to let this RFP broadly. It can be, this is a responsibility of human resources.
Yeah, that's what
So it can be done through the city's human resources department. Then you don't have to pay for it. It just depends on how this commission feels, where the trust level is, and all of that. But I was assured today that was one way that this could be done. Not let that RFP out to the broader community, but have it done within the city's human resources department. I tried to contact that person with the same work that the RFP would, the consultant would do for the RFP. That work would be done by human resources. So, which includes all of that, the hiring, the recruiting, the vetting, the hiring. I tried to reach human resources. I was not able to reach the person I needed to talk to today. That person wasn't available, but that was what I had gathered, that's one way it could be done outside of letting, coming up with additional dollars to let it an RFP to the greater community.
And I'm sorry, just for clarity, you said that the human resources department could pay for the.
No, they would conduct it.
They would.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Commissioner Sure.
I didn't have a
Oh,
question.
okay.
I think it's a good idea.
I don't think your mic's on.
I think it's a good idea to look at human resources to put it out there for us.
Commissioner Benito.
I was wondering more on the lines of what Co-Chair Zayed was saying is, so could human resources pay for it? Because I guess my concern is with being independent. I think that if we had the city human resources run the hiring process, I think that it could disrupt our independence. I mean, one thing that we've seen is human resources has refused to do other human resource work for us. For example, investigations with, the law department has said that has to be handled by an outside person. So I'm wondering, if human resources is doing that with other HR functions, are we?
Bring it back. So I think because the commission voted for an outside firm, we should keep with it. As I stated, I've asked a number of times about the budget, and it has never been an issue. I think we should proceed forward.
So what I want to say is we passed the motion on February 28th. So to my knowledge, this motion was passed before the Bias Street policing, before the community survey, the community RFP, before the commander background check. So I'm going to say that I believe that because this was passed on February 28th, and in the motion, we stated, so we are not allowed to just give this to HR, because what we said in our motion was that we are going to work with the city of Cleveland HR, law and procurement departments to select an outside independent human resources firm that will conduct a thorough nationwide search for candidates to recommend for a permanent executive director. So in my opinion, I think this is the priority because it was passed first. And so I just want to put it out there that I don't think that the HR thing is an option because of how we passed this motion. So I do think that this one should have precedence because it was passed first.
So for this line, okay, and then you read the last comment, and then we can proceed forward.
Okay, I would say, I do agree with you that we do need to follow what we, passed in the motion, and work with the outside firm, but I do think that we should prioritize projects not based on the timeline of which they were presented, but based on the importance of the work we do on the commission. So if one of these projects is going to help us gain compliance with the consent decree, which is the reason why we are here, I think that should be the top priority. And we should evaluate these projects based on that.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. Let's proceed forward. So with this sentence, the contract's proposed cost shall not exceed 25% of the executive director's salary, without further negotiation. That sounds like we're okay with that. And then the cost estimate would be $32,500 as an estimate. So we can proceed forward? Okay. I know that there has been a question about having the interim executive director listed on this application. There are a variety of different options we can take. Before I'm gonna open the floor to see what anyone proposes. Chair Ridgway.
To the chair and committee members, this was another area I explored today, and thank you for, considering the human resources. That was just suggested as an option. If we needed to do that in order to avoid some of the other issues that were on the table. But one of the other issues that was clarified both by the contract services office is that this cannot go out under the interim executive's name, especially in a sitting position and he plans to apply for the position. There must be a strong firewall between everything that involves the hiring, the selection and hiring, of this committee. And I'm sorry, forgive me, I should have turned that off before I started. But there has to be a strong firewall. So I asked them, well, how does it go out then? So the suggestion was that it could go out under the chair of this committee, under the signature of the chair of this committee. It could go out under the signature of one of the co-chairs, or if we had decided that we wanted to, to use human resources, it could go out under the head of human resources signature, or even under the head of the finance director's signature. But those were just all the options that were laid out. But for sure, it cannot go out, should not go out under the name, under the signature of a person who's also applying for the position. We must be transparent.
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Ridgway. I guess one question is, so I had a conversation with Martin about this, who said that when we brought up the concerns about it being under IED Goodrick's name, he said that there's something in the charter about whose name can be on
The contract.
on them, and so the contract itself would have to be executed by the executive director unless we have what I'm guessing would be another head of a department.
Right.
So I'm wondering if it couldn't I agree. If it's not an issue with legal and with the contracting department, I think I would totally sound good to have either Adriana or one of the co-chairs be the signature. But what I'm wondering is if there's regulations around who can execute the contract and who can publish it.
A chair.
I think that what we would have to do is, because it's happened before, I don't think it can be any of the commissioners. I don't think we can sign those contracts. So it would have to be what Commissioner Ridgway said. It would have to be either procurement through HR, which has happened before for us, or procurement through the finance department. Because when we had the event at the Dunham Tavern, it was actually the finance department that signed that. So
Okay.
I think that it can't be the commissioners. It cannot be the co-chairs. Okay. So I think we would have to.
So we're gonna do finance or HR?
I think we would have
to.
I think HR makes sense.
Okay. Sounds good. So I think that's a good option. Any questions or concerns about that? Okay.
No.
Co-Chair Adam?
And are we gonna move on to the, I don't wanna get ahead of you. Are we gonna talk about the second part of it, which is once we get the contract with the firm, the reception of the information from the firm? If you're gonna bring that up, I could wait.
I think we should move into the cover letter's pretty
We can just move through, that's fine.
easy, so any questions or debate about that,
Mm-mm.
anything you should bring up? Okay, about the RFP, any questions on page 5?
The only suggestion I had on page 5 was to, at finalizing and posting for number 1, under the second paragraph.
Okay,
And I just flagged that,
finalize.
Coaching? Where is it again?
right here.
Oh, finalizing, oh, yeah.
So promoting the job, is that where,
Because I mean, and I know it comes later in the document,
oh,
but I wanted to just, because I know that we have a draft of the position, but it's possible that we may not be fully done with it. So I just wanted to just say, not just post it, but if it's not finalized today, we have to finalize it too.
okay. So we can make that edit.
And then my other thing was, do we still want Janita to be the receiver on the bottom of the page?
Oh,
Go for it. Go.
there you went. Well, I think it would probably be, if it's HR or finance, it would probably be someone from their office that would
Okay.
be the receiver, so it depends.
Okay,
But I'll make a note there.
what do you think?
To the chair, my comment would be the same,
Mhm.
that this still is a position that reports directly to the interim director. And I just think we want to be transparent as possible to make sure that we aren't giving anybody an edge, except when the applications come in. So, yeah, I agree.
Okay, that sounds good. Should we move to page 6?
All I wanted to page on flag on page 6. It's just that then we should maybe like italicize or highlight the address for the receiving of the materials, and then also highlight that Janita is also listed as recipient.
Okay.
Like this.
And then probably highlight the date up top of it too, August 26, 2024. That's probably not gonna happen.
Which one?
Okay, so page 7. So I guess for me, the amendment that I would like to see is contacting references and previous employers under section D for background searches on top candidates. What it says is perform the compliant background check searches on top candidates. Background searches should include prior litigation and social media services and be compliant with federal, state, and local laws. I would like to ensure that they call references and previous employers, just to ensure.
Go ahead. No, that's something. Go ahead.
So on the question of dates, do we want to, like, I know that, so the next step, will this one need to be approved by the full commission? Or no?
Okay.
Oh, so I'm just thinking through what dates we would put in here.
Mhm.
So is the next step that this would need to be approved by the full commission?
Well, it would have to be, but eventually it's gonna have to go through budget and grants too.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be over
Well, not-
$10,000.
Oh.
Well, I think once they receive the bid, then it
Then
will.
we'll have to go
Oh,
to,
when,
yeah.
okay.
so we have to
'Cause
bring
it's gonna
this
be
to the
over-
full commission
so-
for approval, and then once we finally get a firm, and then they give us actual number, the final approval, we have to send it through budget and grants and then bring it back to the commission.
So what's the
Yeah.
anticipated timeline? So if it gets approved in the full commission meeting next Wednesday, how long would it take for us to get this posted, do you think?
So I'm unsure because,
Okay.
that's, human resources, and
Right.
I'm not sure how long that takes.
Okay, so I mean, I guess maybe what we should discuss is how long do we want it to be open from the day that it's posted?
Is it 30 days required?
The minimum.
I believe 30
Minimum
days
of
is
30
required
days.
because the public position, public money. I think 30 days is required.
It's,
So I just-
but we can have it more than that,
Mhm.
We could.
probably. What, I don't know, what's the standard? 45, 60, 30?
I think
30.
30 is the standard.
30?
30, I think we probably don't wanna
I think 30 is
So then
standard.
you don't
be on
get
that. We can
the
always.
applicant pool
You
within
keep
that
it
30
open
days, then
if
you
you
just,
keep
you
it
know.
Okay, so I'll put, so it'd be 30
Not to
days from
exceed.
whenever we're able to get this posted.
The what, I'm sorry, to the chair and to the committee. So I had explored NACO too, because I really think it should be advertised through NACO. We are a member of NACO and it's a national posting,
The RFP.
the RFP. And so I had, checked with them as well. They post for 30 days, up to 60, it's $300 for the posting. Automatically 30 days, up to 60, or until the position is filled. So it's not, those are the components of that. 30 days, up to 60, or until the position is filled. That's their language for $300. But I do think it needs to be posted nationally.
The firm.
The position, the firm,
RFP.
The RFP.
RFP,
Probably the position as well.
and the position.
So that would mean that looking forward, as we're thinking about whatever the firm is going to want, we should probably factor in whatever cost it would be to post an RFP with NACO and then to post the position with NACO, which sounds like that would be an additional $600.
Sounds like it. But you may want to just verify that, because I got it off
Yeah, I see it
Because
on the
that sounds like two
website.
different
on the
posts.
website.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like two different postings. One's for the RFP and
Right,
one's for
one's
the
for
actual
the
position. It's probably redundant, but to Jan's point on B1, I just wanted to add at the end, including NACO.
Okay.
Because we're saying a national search, but we want to make sure that they put it with NACO. So, at a certain point, we're going to get to the point where we're going to have to be hands off with this
Yes.
once we get this firm. So I just want to make sure whatever we need to do, we want where we want them to. But I mean, if they decide they don't want to do it, then we won't be able to get as involved. So I feel like we should be explicit with.
So you mean listing nationally such as NACO?
So I said, marketing the job listing nationally to ensure diverse and qualified pool of applicants. Or we can say nationally including NACO.
Yeah, what about nationally, including posting, the position through NACO
Something like that, yeah.
to ensure diverse and qualified?
I think that's probably like the professional organization where we would have maybe some of the strongest people. So I would not just want to say national and then, because the reality is that it's very possible that whatever firm ends up getting, they may not be knowledgeable about the police oversight organizations, and they may think that they're posting nationally by going on like LinkedIn or something like that, and then
Well,
they don't
hopefully
do
they're
it, and then
not
they don't.
selected.
Yeah, but I think we have to make sure. So I just thought that might be a way just to
They don't
make
know
sure.
NACO, but we could put it in there just to be on the safe side, but, okay.
One other comment to the chair. This could go either way. When you talk about, two different $300. If the posting on NACO is part of the RFP for the consultant firm or the hiring firm, they may put that cost
Yeah,
in their proposal. If they're the ones recruiting, you know what I'm saying? So we just need to make sure, especially if we're specifying in the contract to include NACO, right? They may search those costs out and make sure that they have included those costs in their proposal. I just think we need to be aware that
Okay.
might be a possibility.
Oh, I guess for me, a comment that I have under 7E, make recommendations to the commission. Under subpoint 3, it says report final recommendation to commission with details and reports on the search process. I just would like to put, similar to you guys, that it's a public record, and so that they're aware that whatever document that they sent more than likely will be public. So a little notation for that so that they are aware.
So would that be, are you saying that something should be added under E, or is that what F is addressing?
I think it can go under either, because I know they make a report, so whatever that report is, it's probably gonna be public. So it can be either or, honestly. I just want them to know that we're a public body, and what they send to us more than likely will be subjected to that.
So maybe
As a
under,
public, you can do it that way, as a public
yeah,
body, all documents will be subject to public.
So if they need to, I don't know, references redacted or anything like that, make sure that they're aware ahead of time.
so maybe adding, a 5 on here, I'm messing up the numbering, but that says, complying with, we're working with the record, working with the city of Cleveland law. Is it the Department of Law that handles record requests? I think it is, right?
I think we just need something that states that, materials, gathered for this, or accumulated, gathered, collected for this search, are part of are subject to public records requests or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's a nice way to say that.
Okay, so then maybe I wonder where that would.
And then I think under 3E3, it should say recommendation, report, final recommendation.
Sorry, where do we think that should go? I'm putting under,
They maybe the public record thing should go under F,
yeah, I'm
maintaining
putting,
records for auditing purposes.
working with the city of Cleveland on any, public records request and maintaining records and documents in accordance with open or, and in accordance with,
The city of Cleveland's public,
city of Cleveland what?
public records, subject to the city of Cleveland's public
Records policy.
records policy.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Say that one more time. In accordance with city of Cleveland
Is that redundant though? Because we have
records.
to
I know, it says the thing about complying
maintain.
with, I mean,
But you
it's,
can clean it up. You
Yeah.
have a gist
It's
of
in
it,
there,
so
yeah.
you can clean it and send it back,
Yeah.
you know.
Or, you know, we can work together.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm just doing this for note taking. I don't have to do
Um,
the
so page 8, is there anything?
I would just, all I noted was on C, that we, that it says that submitted and approved by the interim executive director. Or if all other services have been satisfactorily formally accepted by the interim executive director. I just, so we'll have to, maybe should say the human resources department.
Mhm.
We can just put the human resources department for now until we get specifications,
Yeah,
will be
bracket it,
finance.
whatever, put it in a-
or-
highlight it in
Okay.
a different color, and then we can verify and change it.
That was all I had on that
Okay.
page.
8, page 9. And I know that we have some emails on here, so those can be
Yeah.
changed out. Any other comments?
I mean, some of this stuff I feel like is redundant, but I would rather make sure that it's there.
And it go into proposals as public records so that you know. Okay, page 10.
These are just
Mhm.
legal stuff, so I didn't really put much on these pages.
No.
Yeah, I don't have
Pretty
anything.
much.
Any other further? Okay,
Language.
page 11,
same.
page 12,
These really-
13.
Oh,
Oh, 12, 13. Oh,
I have to make for 14.
okay. Good. Go on in. Page 14.
For the shortlisting, is the city considered like the commission, or is it for shortlisting? Is that the commission has that, or is that the like city, like the department that's the executor?
So I'm just short list. Okay.
I don't know the answer to this question, but do these contracts operate similarly to when we did the outside counsel? Like how does the law department actually sign the contract with Wallet?
I don't know.
Well, I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
different because
Because that's not how legal explained it to me today.
Okay, so I don't, like I said, I don't know, so I just wanted to ask the
Yeah.
question because I wasn't sure if it would work the same way.
Yeah,
Do you-
I think that that's a little bit unique
I
because
think
they're
we
the
would
one,
make it.
the law, in the charter, the law department is the one who's required to contract for us for that because so this, I don't know.
I guess this will be us, that's what I'm assuming, but, I guess that's a question that we can provide
Yes.
further clarification, but
I mean,
I think, Martin wrote this, and I always remember him saying that we also are the city.
Right, yeah.
Like he said that numerous times.
Yeah.
So I think it would include us.
yeah.
Right,
And if we aren't sure, we can also always specify the commission.
yeah.
You know, but I think that's worth verifying, yeah.
I just also want to just keep it out there that I think the goal is to make sure that if we change language to say the commission, I just want to make sure that, you know, we're fair, unbiased, and that we stick to staying as hands off.
Yeah.
And once we get the firm as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just questioning if we need to keep it as the city or the commission, because.
But the chair is gonna verify through.
So that's just something for you to follow up on and just
Okay.
figure out, what that should say. But I think we just need to keep in mind that, you know, the purpose of this is so that we have a fair, transparent process for everyone who's applying.
Okay, so, seems like we're done with that page. That's a good question. Page 14, I know under section C, those dates are gonna change. So we just keep that in mind.
we were not issuing a request for proposals today.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I know.
We didn't do that yesterday.
Any other comments for page 14?
I guess one question, and maybe this is something, so like, once this goes out, and then the city, whatever department we're talking about, whether it's HR or finance, they collect the proposals, and then will the proposals come to this committee? And then we would review them, and then we would select one and recommend it to the full commission, and then the full commission would
Yeah.
approve it, and then it would get sent to the contract department to execute?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, because we have to create a rubric,
Right,
a rubric that we score on. Like the-
right, okay.
Because in the end, there's certain business that the commission has to do that we can't just have someone else do. So like, it's like, even when we do the grants, we're still gonna have to come back and vote because that's our duty as a commission. So we would, play the role in selecting this firm, and then we're a lot more hands off once we get them going, right?
Mhm.
Because we have to pass the funds, we have to pass, I think we just, yeah, so we'll have to.
Page 15. Any further comments or revisions needed? Okay. That sounds good. Page 16. Page 17.
Just because we're going through this, and I don't think the public has this document, so we should maybe clarify what's on page 15, 16.
Okay.
And the top, we're just basically, it's just the requirements just for the public, the proposal. So we're just basically reviewing what the contents of the proposal would be. So we're not just not looking at this stuff, but it's just the cover letter, executive summary, any exceptions or qualifications, just so the public knows what we're looking at.
Okay. So on page 17 is proposed services, description of the completed project, environmental sustainability, fee proposal. Any comments or concerns on those?
So is that just something that is in every contract? Because I guess I'm trying to think through what environmental sustainability would look like for this type of contract. Would it be like if the firm has engaged in environmental sustainability? Because it says specifically the services project solution, not like how the firm engages in environmental like stewardship, because I mean,
Just
this is all
general.
like gonna be email, Zoom, call, you know, I guess.
Yep, so trying to use those measures to ensure that we're not excessively printing and we're trying to be environmentally friendly. And
Right. But I guess I'm just trying to, like, how would hiring be done more environmentally friendly? I don't-
electronically, probably, and not sending.
Right.
I mean, ideally.
If this is something that all contracts in the city of Cleveland have to do,
Yeah.
it's a standard, okay,
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
That's what I believe, and I know the city has a huge focus on sustainability,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how
They answer it.
proposers respond to a question like that.
Sure.
Because
I
they
think-
may have seen that on other contract, in other contract language before. and-
Or they might say that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go to the next one.
Every
Exactly.
applicant, they plant a tree.
Yusuf.
Yeah.
And must install solar panels.
Yeah.
Okay, so page 18, is referring to the financial information, affidavits, and any, additional documents that's required. Any questions about that? I don't know why I thought you raised your hand at the corner of my eye. Okay.
One thing, sorry, I have a question on page 20. Are we
Oh,
there?
okay. Yep, yep,
Oh, okay. I didn't know what CSB, MB, FB, ABC, DE, DBE is.
So my minority, female,
Female business
I don't know, we were at small business. It's,
MBE is minority
Mhm.
business.
oh, yep.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
cool. Gotcha. Cool.
I don't know some of the others. If I
Certified
saw them, I
law.
would say, oh,
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh,
I
okay,
just
cool.
can't think of it off the top of my head.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so on page, that's 19. Okay, page 20. Any comments or concerns at this time? Oh, I want to know now.
Oh, this is making us.
So on page 20,
I was like, is ABCDE?
any comments, concerns? Okay. Should we entertain a motion to adopt it with the changes that we set forth?
I move that we adopt this with the changes that we discussed today.
Just for clarification for the public, because we kind of went through kind of quickly, do we want to just maybe specify what some of those changes are going to be again, or do you know if like we need to do that?
I'm
Let's
okay
all
with
just make
that.
sure we're
Do you want
good.
me to go through?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, changes that we made notes on and I like put in the document and track changes include, starting from the beginning, that the proposed contract cost, the number is 32,500, which is 25% of the upper range of the ED pay. Agreement that we would find a different person to be the signatory and receiver and executor of the contract. And that would either be HR or finance department. Other changes include all the times where there's a person who email correspondence and receivers, that will be changed depending on who it is. Saying that the task for the contractor will include finalizing and posting the executive director job posting. That we will be changing the dates of when the RFP will be open into, and that it will be open for at least 30 days. The address to which they should address the application to will be changed. Then in terms of where it should be posted, in addition to saying that marking the job posting nationally, we also added text that says including posting the position through NACOL and other similar professional organizations. Adding to the section, and this is the section that is the scope of services, Under maintaining records, we added an item that says working with the city of Cleveland on any public records requests and maintaining records and documents in accordance with city of Cleveland's records policies. That the agreement shall be executed by a new person that will be added in.
Then the NACO.
Huh?
Make sure it posts on NACO.
Yeah, that's what I just read. Yeah. And then question about shortlisting and when it says the city, is that just referring to the commission or is it referring to what other city departments have like being involved in that? That dates will change in terms of the pre-proposal conference, deadlines for submitting questions and deadlines for submitting proposals will change. And that is all the changes that I would have made,
Thank
unless
you.
I missed anything.
Thank you so much. Is there any other changes? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any question or debate at this time? Any further question or debate at this time?
I have none.
Okay, let's call for the vote. Commissioner Benito,
Aye.
Commissioner Schur,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez, aye. Motion carried.
Okay, not a question or to debate, but, well, it is a question. I'm just wondering, once you have actually incorporated those, could you just give them to all of us to just, so we know what they are, see it, on paper or in print?
So what I'm doing is I have an email that will be sent to everybody at the table that has some notes that weren't really part of the document from our discussion, and then I will attach the document with notes.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
We do. You a real MVP of this meeting, like for
I don't
real.
know about that. I'm
Thank
just
you.
happy to be here.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
We're happy you're here, but we're also happy you're useful.
There you go.
Did we vote?
Oh, you didn't vote, so you couldn't.
Okay, so just the next tentative steps is, getting this finalized as well as scheduling, working with the departments to ensure it's posted and things like that. When we have to schedule a pre-conference as well as a firm scoring rubric. So due to time, we'll probably schedule another meeting to ensure everybody is present. Thank you all so much for your very valid comments and feedback. It all helped to ensure all the variety of perspectives was proposed and, ensure that our document will capture all of that.
And I just want to say thank you to you for taking the lead on this when you weren't officially chairperson yet, but you made it easier for us to be able to work tonight and to expedite the process. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So it's 7:01 p.m.
Is there a public comment at all? I was
Sure.
planning, could I,
Public comment. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but
I am still a commissioner, but
Listen.
also I guess I'm being forced to speak during,
listen.
that's fine.
Okay.
So, I was planning to come to this meeting even though I've been excluded from the commission's calendar. I was late because I just got off of a plane. I'm concerned right now. I've been listening to the meeting. There's no way that anybody, even though I know something about this, there's no way that anybody from the public can follow this. The 20 pages or so that you just talked about was not posted online. I don't know why it's so difficult, especially when we have a new person that's being paid a significant amount of money to do the postings online. So Mr. Goodrick has no excuse at this point. And so that is one thing.
Ahead of time.
What?
This and the agenda was sitting ahead of time.
To whom?
Listen, I'm not gonna.
So it should be sent, it's my public comment. It should be sent to, this is a public commission, a community commission. You guys are acting, maybe not intentionally, in a non-transparent way. I hear talk about having a fair and transparent process. This is a commission that basically made a grant process chaos. And that this is a even more complicated process. There has been no documents certainly sent to me. I'm a commissioner, so I don't even know what the public is getting at this point. You need to send out work product for committees to the entire commission, because maybe another commissioner like Ms. Ridgway has some comments on. I certainly have some comments on your job description, which has not been in any ways finalized. I'm very also concerned that you keep saying that we're part of the city, we're part of the city. Yes, this is true, but we're not, but we are an independent commission. So how do you expect the public? This is a very important, we have been mired in non-work and non-progress because we have an executive director that spends more time trying to keep his job through political manipulation than doing his actual job. And you want to say that you can just flim-flam all this together and get an executive director? This community deserves a world-class executive director. And the only way to do that is to make sure that the community is a stakeholder in finding that director. So I cannot even believe 20 pages and then maybe like 10 changes. So who wrote this RFP? It was Martin that wrote this?
I can't respond to your public comment.
So if Martin is the one that wrote the RFP, if, like me, the members of the community share concern that Martin is an absolute conflict of interest, certainly he is the direct subordinate of Jason, who's going to be vying for this job, we have a big problem here. So I don't understand what it is that we can't be independent. This should be non-controversial. We're going to go find a group to help us find the executive director. If the city wants us to find a good director, this shouldn't be a problem. So why are we so reliant on the city? And why can't you give the community access to what they have a stake in, which is an executive director for a commission that they voted for? They didn't vote for Jason to do our work. They didn't vote for the city to do our work. So again, I asked you, why is it not posted?
Okay, thank you so much. The meeting will be adjourned at 7:05 p.m. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
So, was it sent out on email? Could I have a copy of what you guys just talked about? It doesn't matter. It's work product of the commission. Are you denying me the work product of the
I would
commission?
say that it was sent.
It doesn't matter. It should be public. How can the public